evening, viewers. Welcome to the session. Today we'll be covering the Karishma Kapoor and Sanjay Kapoor case, which is now almost on everybody's lips. And as you know, businessman Sanjay Kapoor, who was Karishma's, just let me get the who was Karishma's ex-husband, passed away in June 2025. But soon after his demise, there have been legal proceedings with regards to his 30,000 crore estate. Now, Sanjay had two children with Karishma, Samera and Kian, and they filed a plea in the Delhi High Court alleging that his widowed wife, Priya Kapoor, had forged his will. Now, this dispute has reportedly reached the Supreme Court, further making this case even more complex. So, what is this? What is happening in this? Is quite a mystery, isn't it? Because as you know, this is a classic case of a Tinseltown story. You have love, you have divorce, you have death, and a line of claimants fighting for their share of a multi-millionaire dollar estate. Now you remember, see, it's not that, see, now when Karishma Kapoor, the ex-wife of Sanjay Kapoor, now says that she has been ignored and her children have been ignored in the will, it's not that Karishma Kapoor is the, person who's very simple and straightforward, because we also know, in the past, there are many things that she has said about Sanjay Kapoor and her own marriage, which have not really struck a bell. You remember in some years back, in a shocking revelation, this actress Karishma Kapoor had shared disturbing details about her marriage to Sanjay Kapoor. According to a past interview during their honeymoon, Sanjay allegedly forced her to spend a night with his friends and even quoted her price, which means he tried to auction his own wife, and that too newly married wife. She also claimed he was physically abusive, and she often hid her injuries with makeup. Now, over time, Karishma realized Sanjay was more interested in her public image. Now, this is her version than the relationship itself. So, because he was using her as a trophy wife to boost his standing in Delhi elite circles. The situation worsened, leading her to file a police complaint and eventually walk out of the marriage. The couple was together from 2003 to 2016. And you remember, before this, she was supposed to marry Abhishek Bachchan, son of Amitabh Bachchan, in 2003, exactly on 14th Feb. Now, that was called off in January 2003, and they broke up. And in the same year, she married Sanjay Kapoor in 2003. Now, there were many reasons for that also. Apparently, the rumors were that Babita did not want to invite some members from the Kapoor clan, and which angered Amitabh Bachchan, and because his son-in-law was also, Shweta's husband was also, a Kapoor. So perhaps they didn't want to insult them. So anyway, those were some of the reasons why the honeymoon broke. So you can realize that, see, there is something wrong initially with even Babita and, Babita and also with Karishma. So what is surprising is that, if she was, if he had done that on the honeymoon, which is auction his wife, do you think that any woman would stay with such a man for 13 years and have two kids with him? So, which means that you may have married him for money. So, did you actually select him for his property and that he was a multimillionaire? Or did you even check his background before you got married to him? So, these are all doubts that people will ask. Third is that with a mother like, Babita and sister like Karina, she could have stayed on with them. She had complete support from the mother and the sister. And also the fact of, if you recall, Babita also left their father, in a time when society actually frowned upon divorces. So all this has been happening in the background. So how how believable are Karishma's claims now is something that we really need to look at. Now, And see, now this dispute has reportedly reached the Supreme Court, which is further making this matter more complex. According to the latest report, Priya Kapoor has moved the apex court seeking access to confidential documents from Sanjay Kapoor's 2016 divorce proceedings with actor Karishma. As reported in media, Sanjay's third wife, Priya Kapoor, has filed a plea requesting certified copies of all records related to the divorce case. Now, the matter will be heard by a bench headed by Justice Chandurkar, which will then decide whether these sensitive documents can be shared. So this is what is happening at the moment. Now, the media also stated that Priya Kapoor, the third wife of the late businessman Sanjay Kapoor, has approved the Supreme Court seeking certified copies of all documents related to the divorce proceedings between Karishma Kapoor and Sanjay, which took place in 2016. Now, the judge Chandurkar will consider consider whether these confidential documents should be provided to her. Priya has sought access to the said divorce records to ascertain the financial and child custody arrangements made by her late husband. His children with Karishma, Samaira and Kian have reportedly raised now, this is the latest news, is that they have raised fresh objections regarding electronic evidence submitted in court. According to reports, they have questioned digital location data filed by Priya Kapoor before the Delhi High Court. The siblings allege that while Priya claimed in an affidavit to be in Gurugram on March 21st, 2025, the day the disputed will was allegedly signed, electronic records show her phone was located in New Delhi. Their submission also states that both Sanjay and Priya were in Delhi that day, not Gurugram. The filing further claims that Karishma was in touch with Sanjay via WhatsApp on the same day regarding their children's Portuguese citizenship. So now it seems rather strange, isn't it, that all this is happening, and the fact is that Karishma is actually rather comfortable in her. She stays with Karina and Saif in the same house with their kids, and we would think that okay, now she's happy with her kids, but here you realize that the fight, they had a public spat even during the time of the divorce with her ex-husband, and they washed a lot of dirty linen in public, and everybody came to know all the dirty details of their marriage. Now Karishma seems to be coming out with some more problems that she's raising, saying that her children have not been left with anything. Now, while the marriage itself died, and the whole property of Sanjay Kapoor is inherited from his father, Dr. Sarinder Kapoor, who died in 2015. Now, Sanjay himself was a prominent figure in the business world, and but as we told you earlier, the marriage with Karishma was nothing short of a war. Now, Karishma's legal team have filed, at that time, Karishma had also filed a legal, case about domestic violence, saying that he used to abuse her, alleging that he and his mother had harassed her. And Sanjay countered, claiming Karishma married him for money. It was a very messy public unraveling of a decade-long union, and by 2016, the divorce was finalized, but they say that the wounds were still very much there. Now, if we were to talk about the ongoing friction, Priya Sachdev, shortly after the divorce, Sanjay married Priya, a socialite and businesswoman, and this transition wasn't just a personal move; it became a flashpoint for Karishma. Now, why so? You would wonder why Karishma is so against Priya. It boils down to many key points. Now, the timeline. If you look at the rumors of Sanjay and Priya's closeness, surfaced while Sanjay and Karishma were still legally married, and for Karishma, Priya represented the third party in her marriage. And also the fact that, with regards to access to her children, Karishma had always been very fiercely protective of her children. Now, Samaira and Kian, the idea of another woman stepping into the stepmother role was a bitter pill for her to swallow, which led to strict custody arrangements. So this was all happening in the due course. And now in public, Priya has often shared photos of Sanjay's children with Karishma on social media, portraying a happy blended family. Now, Karishma says that she has spoken to sources saying that she views this as a PR tactic that disrespects her role as their mother. So it's every day you see that the situation is going out of control, and it's also about, but mainly if you were to look at the whole issue is about the money. Now, we do not know who is the greedy one, whether it is which wife. We do not know whether it's Karishma or whether it's, the Priya, who are really greedy. But everybody seems to want the money, including the mother. And of course, the mother would have all the right because they were the ones who started the company. It was basically the mother and father's company. So here it's also about, as we said, it's also about the Kapoor family legacy. Now, Sanjay's family is incredibly wealthy and influential in the automotive sector, we call the Sona Group. After the death of Sanjay's father, the internal dynamics shifted. Karishma's fight wasn't just about alimony anymore. It was about securing her children's financial future in a family that had moved on to a new mother or a matriarch, that is Priya. Now, and so this fight has now gone out of control. Today, Karishma, though she lives quietly in Mumbai with her sister and Saif with her children, you know that she is not one to remain quiet because she's seen as a person who's always flaunting wealth. I remember there were many cases where we heard that Karishma Kapoor, whenever she traveled, she used to even book a complete floor, in a hotel. So I'm sure this woman is very wealthy and she has enough money. But sometimes you feel that, the more rich you are, the more you crave more money, so the more greedy you become. So now do not know whether it is Karishma or Priya who is greedy or whether it's, the mother. We really don't know. But the fight is continuing, and Sanjay and Priya, were often very seen in Delhi and London circles. They coexisted, but now that the death has happened, it's almost like the story of Ma Mati Manush. This is the world that they live in, and Bollywood is a place where all this kind of dirty, politics and where absolutely these finer feelings are don't have a place. And why I say this is because even in today, when BJP, wins in a huge way in Maharashtra, the reason why, if BJP thinks it is their win, I would say there are many other issues. For example, the death of the Palgar sadhus, the brutal murder of Sushant Singh Rajput, and so many other people. Through this, people have realized what the Thakres were. And the Thakres were the biggest support for Bollywood's culture. So today, whatever is happening in Bollywood sometimes seems to be, as though, they're all getting, it's karma. They're all getting it in back in the way they have, the way they have lived, the way they have served other people. So I just think it's all karma and it's coming back in full force. With this, we end this session. Good night. Jai Hind and Jai